yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Wait, you don't see me, though. You don't see me because I didn't hit the button, but now I'm going to. Bam! Wham, bam. Thank you, man. Welcome to the Atrioc broadcast here on September 29th, 2025. Good. God damn. Hello. Good to see you. Thank you, Whale Gams. Thank you, Luke is Living. Thank you, Cosine. Thank you, Less Lean Philosophysics. Wow, what a fancy name. 6 months in advance. Thank you, Philosophysics, for your first time 6 month sub. Jesus Christ. James Nash, thank you for the 20. Thank you for all the UFC betting tips, Big A. We all rooting for Marab this weekend. A fucking men, bro. Let me tell you something. The Atrioc broadcast is first and foremost a UFC discussion group. Like, that's what we talk about here. That's what we care about here. I'm a UFC guy. And I've often said that fucking Marab, if he doesn't win, he got Marabbed. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the best damn fighter out there. And I've been saying that, sort of. So, I'm glad to see. I'm a true fan. They should just punch harder. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You know what's funny is I've never gotten into UFC. Here's the secret, dark secret. But I think I could grow to like it. I don't think it's crazy. A Spectacor was telling me. So I got to be on the couch for a Spectacor's Hitman run, which is a lot of fun at Fast 52. But he was telling me he was a huge UFC guy growing up, and I didn't expect that from Bai Sanat. But he's a big UFC guy. And I think it could be something that's fun to watch. Goated run at Wizard Washington 3 in the morning. I do think, I'll say it, drama alert, drop the drama bombs. Ludwig kind of screwed a Spectacor by putting him on so late. He was one of the best runs of the whole event, and he had to do a late night thing. And I think it's kind of fucked up. I think he should have been prime time. I think he was a really, really good run. And also his couch was electric. I think he had an electric couch. I think he had like a really compelling host. And it was on a little late. That would be that one note. But it was a very fun event. Obviously, shout out to Ludwig and his whole team for putting that on and for inviting me. I had a really good time. I got to meet some chatters. Fango was there. Armand Zaidi was there. A couple chatters who were here I got to meet. They were all very nice. Linkus gave me a huge hug and told me some really nice things. He was like tearing up, bro. It was like, I made me tear up. Linkus is such a sweet person. It's crazy. Honestly, I don't know how to handle it when someone is that nice. I don't know how to handle it, bro. I'm not built that way. I'm too jaded. Linkus is such a genuine, sweet person. It breaks me. Saw you on Gavin's podcast. Cool stuff, Unk. First of all, don't call me Unk. Call me Chunk, because I'm also chopped on that podcast. I wore no socks, or I wore no showing socks with my ankles out. So it is a chunk moment. Don't get me wrong. However, if we're gonna toot some horns here, that podcast in 4 days has now become the fourth largest podcast that Gavin Newsom's ever done. Get fucked, Steve Bannon. Boom, baby. Oh, I lost my chat. Get fucked, Steve Bannon. And like Steve Bannon took a thumbnail photo for this. Look, it's photoshopped in on there. And then I'm chopped as fuck in this photo, and we got a better performance. Deal with that, Steve. If I had a fucking direct-to-camera mogging photo, if I could do this thumbnail pose, we would be at 1 million. It's crazy. The photo is so chopped. I honestly want to send them a better photo. It's like, what is this? Why do they make me so chunk in the thumbnail? Anyway, I'm happy with that. You just send them a photo with your hands out? Dude, I'll tell you something. So today, the reason I'm a little late to coming to this broadcast live is because we did Lemonade Stand interviewing the real life Mark Baum from Big Short, aka Steve Eisman, aka Steve Carell's character, if you know the movie The Big Short. We interviewed him, which is really cool. I want to tell you some stories about it. But afterwards, we did a book club, just me, Aiden, and Doug. And the book in the book club was called Breakneck. Breakneck China. Here it is. China's Quest to Engineer the Future. This was the book. A fantastic book, really. A really, truly fantastic book. I very much enjoyed reading it, and I very much have a lot of thoughts on it. But one part of the book is where he's interviewing the manager of a Foxconn iPhone factory in China. And they were asking him, like, why do you think they can't build iPhones in America? And the guy has real answers, like about engineering graduates and structure. But he also goes, look at Americans' hands. They're so chunky. There's no way their thick fingers would ever be dexterous enough to build the... This is a real thing. I laughed out loud. I was reading this book, and it was like... The guy is not joking. He thinks the reason we can't build iPhones in America is because we have glizzy fingers. Who's we, Unk? Say that. Just say it already, okay? Okay? But that's crazy. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That's a shocking statement. But I gotta say, the stats, we don't have iPhones. We're not building iPhones. Are our fingers too thick? Atrioc, why didn't you show up to the Mafia-thon? I was invited, obviously. I was like a key part of the Mafia-thon. One of Kai Cenat's biggest dreams was to have me sing a song on the broadcast, but I couldn't make it. I was busy, so he settled for Linkin Park. He settled for Linkin Park and Ed Sheeran, and so obviously a downgrade, but I got a schedule. I got a schedule. Have you seen One Battle After Another yet? I know I'm seeing it on Wednesday. I'm seeing it as part of a triple date on Wednesday. So I'm excited to tell you what I think about it. Atrioc, can you dab? Can I? Yes. Will I? No. All I see is flannel. Can me and my girl tag along and make it a quattro? No, I'm sorry. Is there even a girl? Is there even a girl? Are you going to show up for this quattro and be like, oh, she couldn't make it. She couldn't make it. Dude, self-inviting yourself to a triple date is very funny, though. I gotta respect the credit. Basic Play, thank you for the 2 months. Funniest book drop, Glizzy Hands iPhones or Navalny Pickle Rick? 2 moments in serious books where I have laughed out loud hard. The Pickle Rick assassination was very funny, and the Americans can't make iPhones because they have glizzy hands also was very funny. I don't want to stack rank them. I'm a finance major, and my professor ranted about BNPL for 90 minutes straight today. This is why I suggest everyone not to go to school. Okay? Why pay for a degree where they rant at you for 90 minutes when you can get a Big A clip where I rant about it for 9 minutes? Okay? You're saving 10x the time. And you're still getting a university level education. Do you give me a 200K piece of paper? No, but if you give me 200K, I'll give you a piece of paper. That's a fucking fact. 29 months. Thank you for that luminescent lion. Thank you. Big A soft launching his school. I done been soft launching it. It's been soft launch, bro. How about BBL NPL? Brazilian booty lift now, pay later. So that is just BNPL. You can probably get a BBL on Klarna. That's not even that crazy. You don't need a whole separate app for it. The demand for BBLs is not so unique. They just take cash. That's $1 billion idea. I guess the problem is like your BBL really has to pay off. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're investing in yourself with a BBL, well, then you better start an OnlyFans or something. like if your BBL isn't increasing your net worth, then that debt is going to come due. Smithy, name of the prime. Andrew BB, name of the 33 months. Make your BBL work for you. Yes, dude. Toke Tell Death, thank you for the 44 months. 44 months and 44 bands of glizzies in my fridge. God, the fucking insight in this chat is off the charts, dude. It's off the charts. You guys write bars that Shakespeare himself would be jealous of. Probably fucking kill himself in a rage. Did you see Timo's coming to 2XKO? I have a friend that works on 2XKO, so I will say nothing negative about the game. However, it's probably not the game for me. So if you're expecting me to play it, I probably won't because I'm not that kind of fighting game guy. I'm more of a UFC real life fighting game guy. You know what I'm saying? I fight in real life. Street fights. Muay Thai. Muay Thai food is also what I have with my Spanish friends. Okay? So I don't need to fucking worry about this online shit. This fucking digital fighting. Kind of racist. Is it racist to use a country's language? Yes or no, chat? Let's get a ruling on this. Is it racist to speak Spanish? Is that... Do you think everybody in Mexico is so deeply racist because they're always speaking Spanish? Is that what your stance is? Check Blue Sky. Mexico is canceled. No, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. You said it was some stank, though? I said it was stank because I'm half Latino. Married in. I'll say what however the fuck I want. White boy, gringo, fucking peachy gringo. You see Jared Kushner bought EA. That's not technically true. I don't know. Are you getting your sources from TikTok? Jared Kushner did not roll up with a blank check and buy EA. Jared Kushner was part of a consortium of many different investment groups that are helping take EA private. It's a little bit low-key, not fact-based reporting. He's gonna ruin Assassin's Creed. Jared Kushner is buying EA. He's not doing that, by the way. Is investing in EA, take it private, in order to ruin the Assassin's Creed franchise, which many fans would say is already ruined. It's already slop, and you're worried that. Also, it's Ubisoft. It's not even an EA franchise, bro. What if Jared Kushner is finding this out right now, same time as me, though? What if Jared Kushner is like checking the games? He's like, wait a minute, where's Assassin's Creed? I just put $50 billion on this. No! It's honestly not that interesting of a story. EA is going private at a $50 billion valuation to get off the public markets, and it will be more under the control of the Saudi Gaming Investment Fund, which is putting a lot of money. But there's a big group of investors that are taking pieces of this. There are many different ways you could predict this to go. I don't think anyone knows how it's going to be because it depends on how hands-on the new leadership is. I think more realistically, they're going to have a hard time making their money back, but they probably don't care. It's, again, more of like trying to wash the oil money into any business they can to try and diversify incomes, I think is the idea. I don't think you're going to see much change from EA. I'll be honest with you. You know, normally a company would go private because they want to be able to focus on things that are more long-term, to be less responsive to public market pressures. You know, they don't have to hit their quarterly numbers. They don't have to worry about what Wall Street thinks. But realistically, it's just a money-making vehicle. You know, no one's putting out Madden Ultimate Team because they fucking have a real passion for it. It's not like they're going to go back to the true raw and real Madden. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a money vehicle. So I think if you didn't hear this news story, you would not notice a difference in EA output. That's my honest guess, but we'll see. Moki, thank you for the red. Moki sent me a very nice message recently. He said, this is his DM. It said, I'm moking, I'm doking. What you think about that? And I was like, wow, that's really powerful. Made me tear up actually a little bit. Made me really reevaluate him as a man and as a person. So I appreciated that. That was very nice. He's a bit of a poet. He's a bit of a poet. So thank you, Moki, for that. No, he sent me something nice. He liked one of my videos, which was nice of him to say. EA should be focused on making good games, not good earnings, right? Because the whole point is to make Saudis look good. That's not the whole point, bro. When you spend $50 billion, you got to make your money back. Just high key. That's just what you got to do. So I predict that it's just going to be the same type of shit. They're going to make more games that have heavy monetization features. Yeah, so good games. Well, it depends on your definition of good game. If you measure it by amount of money it makes, then Madden and FC Club are incredible games. If you measure it by, the heart and talent of a developer, those probably are not the best games. I told a story about this on the pod where I have a friend who was the lead on a video game called Dawngate. I don't know if any of you are real fucking diehard MOBA heads, but there was this game called Dawngate. And it was the number 3 MOBA in the world behind League of Legends and Dota in terms of active player base. It was fairly successful. It was doing decently well. And the lead of this team gets called into the CEO's office. The CEO looks like this. This is the CEO. He looks like a cyborg. He has the most piercing cyborg stare I've ever seen a man have. And this guy tells the lead on Dawngate, he says, hey, how much do you think Madden Ultimate Team makes us a year? And the guy was like, I don't know. And he goes, it's like $1 billion. And then he's like, how much do you think FIFA Ultimate Team makes us a year? And the guy's like, I don't know, sir. And he's like, yeah, $1.2 billion, something like that. And he said, those are the number one in their respective categories. And he's like, Dawngate, you guys are doing really well. You're profitable, but at EA, we don't do number 3. And then he didn't fire him, but he canceled Dawngate. Right in that room, right in the meeting. He canceled Dawngate. And this is a story directly from the guy who ran Dawngate. He told me this at dinner, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. So EA has definitely been very focused on the money for a very long time now. I don't think there's going to be a drastic change just because the Saudis are involved. What is the logic behind killing profitable projects like that? I think the idea is the resources could be better used elsewhere. Even if it's profitable, they could take all the devs and reassign them, or the people or the support staff or whatever, and reassign them to a game that makes more money and try to squeeze more. It's just, they think they have better opportunities. Yeah, opportunity costs. Where do all your connections come from, Atrioc? I go to the Chunk convention with the fellow Chunks, dude, which has become my favorite word ever since Fast 52. I've been calling everyone Chunk, and I've been calling myself Chunk lovingly. Okay? I'm taking it back. I think Chunk is like a really fun thing to say. And at the Chunk conventions, we all hang out, bro. Chunks talk to Chunks. But honestly, that connection came from when I devoted my life to a video game called Shardbound, and I played it so much I killed the game. The head of that studio was the guy who had quit EA on Dawngate to start Shardbound. And so I met him and went out to dinner with him, and we talked about his game. And hey, thanks for the gifties. Why is Valorant giving me 10 gifties? Warbone, they give the 25 gifted. Why is Valorant, though, giving me 10? I've never, ever interacted or spoken about Valorant. Oh, it's the event. It's the September. Okay, I got you. Oh, September. Bonus subs? In that case, Warbone, thank you for the 35 gifted. Much appreciated. Goddamn. That's very cool. Famously, I was going to be marketing lead on the Valorant team. I was in the final 2 candidates back when it was called Project A and not Valorant. And I was going to leave NVIDIA for this job. And then during the final interview at a cafe, like we were just eating lunch, I said, I don't like shooter games. He was asking me about like other games I play. I was like, bro, I don't really like them. Honestly, I think they're kind of whack. And I fumbled right at the finish line. Thank you for the other gifties. Thank you, Just Let the Buyer Beware, for the 10 gifties. Thank you, K Dunce. Thank you, Piparetto. Thank you, Boston Brawler. Thank you, Big Bang Bullets and the Sweeter Side and AP Gamble for the 65. Thank you, Bad Gluten, for the 5 gifted. Beetle Nutria, thank you for the Prime. I appreciate the gifted subs. I didn't know Valorant was fucking matching like this. How did that not come up earlier? Oh, it probably did come up earlier and I lied or something. But then in the casual moment where I felt like I had it in the bag, I let it slip, dude. I let the mask drop. That being said, it worked out great. Again, that's another lucky thing. I'm very lucky I did not get that offer because I would have taken it. And then I would have been on a game that I don't like instead of being at NVIDIA for 3 more years where I got paid through the fucking nose. And yeah, it just worked better. It was way better. Grok! Thank you for the gifties. Thank you for the Prime, Dr. Wooga. Morty's Revenge, thank you for the 4 months. Big A, please read my message about oil. Yeah, I'll read your message about oil. So you said, yo, Big A, I'm a welder for refineries, and work has dried up because I've been told by my bosses that since crude oil is getting too expensive, oil fields are not making any oil. Thus, the refineries we build tanks for don't want to build more tanks because they aren't getting the oil to refine. I don't know how much you know on this subject, but I'm curious if you know this is possibly true. I guess it's possibly true. We could check the crude oil price. I assume more is going on than what they're telling you, but I also don't think they would make up a story. So you're saying it's getting too expensive, and that's not really what I'm seeing. I would say that crude oil has been going down in price, which tracks what we've been talking about because that has been hurting the revenues of countries like Russia. So it could be a tariffs thing. That seems more likely to me. You know, more realistically than oil being, like if you're a welder in America, the cost of getting something welded elsewhere and sent in is actually probably going to be cheaper than trying to figure it out here and then exporting it. Aiden coming in with a banger tweet. Let's see that. The biggest plot twist in podcasting history. What is this? Wait, I'll go back to your message in a second. I just want to read this.
Text chain here. 10:43 a.m. on a Monday. Glenn Howerton. We should start a bit earlier if we can. We usually take at least 75 minutes with commercials. Can we start at 8:45? Charlie Day. Yeah, I can get there then. Rob McElhenney. 8:45 works! Exclamation point. Well, it's 8:45. Rob? Glenn? Megan? There's nobody here. There's nobody left at the podcast. This is it. It's fizzled down to nothing. Well, now, Rob, how do you feel about the fact that Glenn was the one who said, well, let's start at 8:45? Yeah, I totally agree. And Megan, you said you weren't going to be here. That's fair. Well,
this is good, and Aiden's response is good, where he says, this was me at 9 a.m. this morning, because I recorded with Aiden today, and before we started recording, he was just complaining about this with the yard. Apparently, a little bit of drama. Ludwig asked to record early this morning, and then 15 minutes before recording said, nah, I can't make it. A little bit of drama. What's up, cutie? What is up? He was busy. Had to go to Disney. That's funny. He was busy in quotes. Hey, wait, are you winning against Nick? I have to ask, because I was sitting behind Nick at Fast 52, and I was watching him play, and he told me he switched competing from Slime to you. And I really do hope you win, because I hate Nick. I don't like him. I hate how he plays League of Legends, bro. He is so arrogant. He talks so arrogantly for a silver player. He talks like, it's so unjust. If you or Slime don't win, it's not fair. It's bad for the world. Emergency? What from Yeti or what? What's the emergency? You're one to talk? Well, I'm not arrogant about League of Legends. I think I am very, very okay at League of Legends, and I put a lot of my life into it. But Nick talked. You know what it is? If you guys ever played, like a game like Smash Melee, there's always going to be that guy that complains that the reason they lost is their character. So they'll be like, oh, I can't beat you, but it's because I play Luigi. But if I played a top tier like Sheik or Fox, I could beat you. But it's Luigi. But like you're at a very low level, and that's obviously not the reason. It's not the character. It's not the it's like that's the reason Axe can't beat Hungrybox in a tournament finals. It's not the reason. You know what I'm saying? So what Nick knows that's a bad habit in Melee, but in League of Legends, he's like, yeah. The reason I don't carry more is because Vex is not a very good carry champion. It's like, I need someone else on my team to pick up the slack because I can't. And it's like, bro, you're in silver. You could pick fucking Soraka middle and go 99-0 if you were actually good. It's not your character. It's so annoying to hear. Like, if they put an actual good player in your spot, they would carry very easily. You're not held back by Vex. I found that to be very annoying the way he talks about it. But, anyway. I hope Cutie wins. I'm cheering. I'm praying. I'm trying to get into AoE too. What skills do you think I should learn at? Get good at first? Bro, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I can't tell you. You watch Hera. Hera's the greatest teacher of that game. I'll glaze Hera. This is how the podcast war starts. We need to team up against all odds. We have to team up with Fear and to defeat the Yard. We need Lemonade Stand and Fear and to put down the pitchforks and handshake in order to defeat the Yard. It's going to be like, it's like when Maoist China and the royalists of China, what were they called? They put their differences aside to defeat Japan. Let's do a car wash. The Kuomintang, dude. The Kuomintang, the nationalists, and the Maoists, they all put their differences aside to beat Japan's invasion. And that's what's happening. If Squeak starts a pod with his uncle, it's over for y'all. Yeah, probably. Squeaks is very funny. That's what I noticed when we did our speedrun. Squeaks is very naturally funny. And I guess I'm just naturally good at beating him at speedrunning. Like, I don't really know. I guess I'm not so quick with the wit. I guess I just played the game better and was able to beat him on stage. I guess that's the skill I bring to the table. And then he's sort of like the haha hee hee guy. He got rinsed, by the way. 1-5, baby, road game. The one on stage. That's the one that matters. He's also problematic. Yeah. Squeaks of the two of us is the one that's problematic. I'm afraid to collab with Squeaks sometimes because his history is so problematic. That's one of my biggest fears. He's a brand risk. He's a brand risk at the end of the day. It was his birthday. It was his birthday. Yeah, Squeaks is a very fun guy. I like him a lot. He's fun to talk to, even not as part of content. Not all streamers are like that. Some streamers are only fun when the cameras are rolling. I'll tell you that. But Squeaks is actually fun when there's not. People are saying Lud. Why? That's not true. No, Lud is probably one of the funniest people offline in the world. Although, maybe not with his family or with Cutie, but with most people, I feel like he behaves in real life like a camera is on him. Even before he was famous. I remember this, I've told this story before, but I remember we were playing like an N64 drunk tournament with like 6 dudes at their old house. It wasn't for any money, no camera, no content. His stream was small. And he goes like, he does a big show of it. He like takes the cartridge out and like makes a speech and then blows in it and then like shows it around to the, like, I'm like, what theater kid shit are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, nobody's watching, bro. Let's just put the game in so we can play. Like, he's got that in general. It makes him a good streamer, I think. He's built for it. He's built for it. The boomers hate whimsy. I'm not a boomer, and I don't hate whimsy. That's not true. I just think things should be less fun and more serious. Does that mean I hate whimsy? I just think people that have fun little tangents should be locked up. Does that mean I hate whimsy? No, it's what the fuck are you talking about? I like, Atrioc is from the silent generation. He thinks the boomers are too whimsical. Bro, you guys have to, I mean, if you're not lemonade stand pilled, fine, I get it. Not for everybody. I would recommend, if you're economics or business pilled, in like that side of the podcast or the content, the interview that comes out on Wednesday with Steve Eisman, who is the real life Steve Carell, Mark Baum from The Big Short. It was a good one, dude. It was a good one. Not spoilers, but I do pitch him my idea for The Bigger Short, and I used Jenga blocks like the movie. It comes out on Wednesday. So I'm pretty pleased with how it went out. And I will say, like, if you're somebody who's like, Atrioc's pretty down on this economy, Steve Eisman, despite what you'd think for his famous Big Short play, is more positive on the economy. I think we agreed on a lot, but he has a more positive take on some things, and you can hear that. So I thought it was a really good discussion. I liked it a lot. I was very... Oh, that's what I wanted to say. This is the bonus. This is the bonus content. This is the bonus. It's YouTube. It'll be on YouTube. This is the bonus Jonas. So after we interviewed Steve Eisman, here's who he is. Look, this is the real life. This is the real life Steve Eisman. He's the Mark Baum. This guy right here. Okay. This guy from the movie, the real life guy. After we interviewed him, he's like, hey, because he has his own podcast now. He has his own like financial advice podcast. He's like, hey, I got to get a ride, or I have to go downtown LA to meet with my new podcast. I'm getting signed to somebody. I'm getting signed to a podcast network. And I was like, you want a ride? I'll take you. I was like, I just threw it out there. I just fucking threw it out there, bro. I was like, you want a ride? I'll drive you there. And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. So I just drove Steve Eisman for 40 minutes in LA traffic, and we just shot the shit, bro. We just shot the shit. And I got some cool stories out of him, and I wanted to share one with you, which I think is totally fine. It wasn't the Honda Fit. It wasn't my beat up chunk ass Honda Fit. In fact, he tried to get in the passenger door, and there was a basketball on the seat, gym shorts on the floor, 2 dirty basketball socks, shoes, and like a leftover fucking tee. And I had to throw it all in the back. I was like, nah, don't look like I had to throw it all in the back. Whatever, I don't give a shit, bro. I'm giving him a ride. Ubers are expensive in LA. I'm saving him money. So I'm giving Steve Eisman a ride, and we're just shooting the shit, talking about the pod, talking about how he's doing some content now. He's asking me about content. He asked me like things I've done recently. I mentioned the Gavin Newsom thing. He's like, I fucking hate that guy. It's just like, which is fun. Look, Steve Eisman's probably like a center-right Wall Street Republican guy. I'll just being real. He's very funny and has very good insight on financials, but he's like a center-right Republican guy. And him handshake with, the Maoists in my chat too. Whatever. They all don't like him. All right. So he doesn't like Trump either, though. Anyway, so we're not talking politics. We're talking about politics for a little bit, but we talk about stocks, because that's his expertise. So we're talking about stocks, and I was like, hey man, do you know why? It just came up for whatever reason. Why United Healthcare has done so poorly? Because, like, we obviously know that the CEO got shot by Luigi Mangione. But, like, realistically, why is this stock just crumbling? Why? Like, this does not line up with the assassination. Like, it was fine, and then suddenly it was like, bam. So, he had a great answer. And I wanted to sort of break it down for you. Because I think it's interesting. So, it turns out, this is like what happened at a high level, all right? It really has very little to do with Luigi Mangione. So if you're a Luigi Mangione guy, unfortunately, this will not be your answer. But because it turns out that guy wasn't even, he was ahead of a division of UNH, not even the whole thing. And it is allegedly, I guess. Innocent until proven guilty in this country. Luigi it could have been Mario. I'll just say that. It could have been Mario. So realistically, let's ignore the assassination right now because there's much more to the story. The truth is, in America, a lot of money in healthcare is made by charging the government, of course, for things like Medicare. If you set up a clinic that primarily serves old people, they don't come in and pay you any money, and they don't have work insurance. What they do is they come in and say, hey, I'm covered by Medicare. They're going to pay for my procedure. Makes sense, okay? So if you are UNH, United Healthcare, and you have your new Optimum, what's it called? I'll make sure I say it right. UNH Optum? That's what it is. It's this one. It's this company, Optum. It looks like this, okay? And you have your new Optum healthcare centers, which are targeted towards old people. Then you are primarily making a ton of money off of the government. Old people come in, you charge the government. This is the government, goved. You bill them, they pay in, and then healthcare goes out to old people, okay? So what UNH was doing is they were getting a little bit creative with how they classified what they were treating for. So let me give you an example. If somebody comes into an Optum clinic, let's say an old person, 70 years old, and they have a mild concussion, well, if you mark that as a mild concussion, then you can charge the government a certain amount for the treatment. But if you mark it as a severe concussion, you can charge the government a lot more to treat it. It's called aggressive coding. You can be very aggressive with how you classify the diseases you're treated or the treatment you're giving in order to charge the government more to pay for this person's healthcare. So it turns out all healthcare in America falls on a spectrum of how aggressive they are with the coding of what they're doing. That's how we would describe it. UNH was like the most extremely aggressive of all. UNH was like very, very on the far end of like, oh, you got a paper cut? We're going to call that a gash, a bloody gash, a stab wound. And we're going to, or whatever. They were up coding everything and getting huge checks from the government. So recently, this is what happened. This is what happened around the UNH stock collapse, is that the government realized they were getting aggressively scammed. And rather than totally fix the problem, they kind of minorly fixed the problem by getting rid of a lot of codes. They basically simplified the code system. They reorganized it and they made it so it's like much harder to commit open code fraud. Now it's not a drastic change, but it's a step in the right direction. That alone, just a small step in the right direction, fucked UNH so hard. Their earnings took a massive hit because they could no longer do these insane overcharges. Okay. And so that hit their stock. But then he told me this, another step behind the scenes. So once you can no Wait, have I been muted this whole time? Wait, when was I not muted? How long have I been muted? Holy fuck, I've been yapping. How long have I been muted? Oh, I'm gonna fucking freak out. Oh, okay, good. Thank God. Oh, 30 seconds. Oh my God. I was like, if you missed my whole thing, I was just gonna turn the stream off. I was gonna turn the stream off. And I'm not saying it all again, bro. I was fucking going into it. I was fucking explaining the whole thing from the fucking beginning. I would like literally just ended. Okay, 30 seconds ago. I said another secret. All right, here's the other secret. Okay. The other secret was UNH, when they realized they could no longer charge the government insane amounts, they wanted to hide how bad that was from Wall Street. They didn't want to report lower earnings. So to keep their cash flow up, to keep the dollars high and to not have a change, they were selling off parts of their business to private equity and reporting those sales as income. They were like reporting it as regular income for the company. Like if you sold off a piece of your business for $50 million, you're like, yeah, we made $50 million profit. Like they were just reporting it as the normal income from doing business. And that in this period, maybe in this post-Mangione period, part of it, in the chaos of that started to come to light. That started to become more obvious that this is not recurring revenue. This is like one-time sales of pieces of their company. And also, selling off bits and pieces means the whole does not work together as well. So all this combined to cause a big disaster for UNH, slowly and then all at once. Like all these problems compounded. So that is a better, that answer that he gave me in this 40-minute car ride is a much better explanation than anything I've ever heard for why their stock has done so poorly so quickly. I was very, very impressed with the way he summed it up. And so shout out to Steve Eisman. That's the takeaway that I got. Isn't that fraud? Tell me the difference between stupid and illegal and have my wife's boyfriend arrested. What's the fucking...
Why should we back out of this? Straight right now.
Didn't I say when we made this deal that the rating agencies, the SEC, and the big banks were clueless? Didn't I say that?
Yes, you
Didn't I say it?
Yes, you did. You did.
Shut up.
You did.
Now their foot's on fire. They think their steak is done and you're surprised?
I can't even
That's
hear it,
not
bro. It's so
stupid.
quiet. Can you hear it?
Stupidity. That's fraud.
Tell me the difference between stupid and illegal and I'll have my wife's brother arrested.
Oh, brother. Wife's boyfriend doesn't make sense. Wife's brother arrested. That makes way more sense. I was like, wait, why is it so... Is his wife stupid for cheating? That's funny. That's funny. Or butler. He didn't say butler. He said brother. Any hoot. The point is, I think they... Actually, the broader point is, I don't want to spoil what I said in the podcast, but there's a lot of stuff that seems borderline illegal that's happening right now. There's stuff with so many loans in this country feel borderline illegal. And if they were properly investigated and checked on, I think they would be against regulation, but nobody cares. There's no consequences. So I think some of it's stupidity and some of it's like a lack of consequences. Like the SEC has openly said they're not going after a lot of stuff. They just don't care anymore. And also the rules are being changed. So things that used to be illegal are now legal because the rules are being changed to make them legal. Things around crypto, like there's so much crypto stuff that would be openly illegal that has now been made legal under the new crypto czar David Sachs. Atrioc, what's your thoughts on the potential government shutdown? To be honest, bro, I'll do some more research. I'll see if maybe it's different this time. But I'm not kidding that in my life, we've had the government shutdown story once a year, twice a year for 20 years, forever. I mean, it just, and realistically, it's happened twice in my lifetime, and both was for like 30 days. I'm just not super sold that it's going to be. I think everyone makes a big show and stink, but when it comes down to it, they always pass the bill. They always extend the debt. They always, no matter what. I mean, parties have an incentive to drag their feet on it, but I just don't think it'll happen. That's my honest take, but it could be different. I mean, Trump has made a lot of things different. Things are different. And I'll do some more reading, but I'm kind of bored by the discussion every year. Atrioc, help. I need a big A upload. It's 11 p.m. and I can't fall asleep because I've had my daily dose. Ask Adish, bro. I don't know why it's not up. We're supposed to upload the, there's like a Patreon. I cut a clip from the Patreon where I talk about, I talk about Russia's foreign reserves getting possibly seized by Europe and America. And that's one of the reasons countries are fleeing to gold. I thought it was interesting. So we cut that for the... just for you, it's out! It's out. Pog. Pog and champ. Pog and champ. Pog and champ. Champ, pog, champ. Oh. Pog and champ. Hey, I heard there's a new How Money Works, and it's about American farmers. And we did discuss... Okay. I'm just going to say this live. Actually, I won't. I'm not going to say it live. How money works. America's latest farming crisis.
Over the last...
We got to watch this. Sounds interesting. No, I'm not a coward. I actually would be a coward if I gave in to you and said it. Think about that. I'm actually being quite brave right now. Let's watch this. America's latest farming crisis. We talked about this on the podcast. My general understanding is that America sells billions of dollars of soybeans to China every year. However, this year, China has refused to buy any as part of the ongoing trade war with Donald Trump. And in fact, China is now buying soybeans from Brazil and Argentina and other countries. And so American farmers are suddenly realizing, oh, fuck, we have all these soybeans we can't sell to anybody. And it's causing a crisis. And so they are going to require or ask for or need a bailout, which Trump will be likely to give them because he needs their political support. Farmers are a big voting bloc and they're traditionally Republican. And so it's a problem for sure. It's a problem. But I maybe there's more to the story. That's what I said was 30 seconds long. This is 14 minutes long. So let's see what they have in the latest How Money Works.
This month, farmers from across America have been raising the alarm that they are in deep manure. Record agriculture...
It's too loud. Now it's too loud. Holy fuck. Why is it so damn loud?
Cultural debt, combined with
Is that okay?
disruptive trade wars, financial consolidation of farmland, inclement weather conditions, the gutting of federal programs, increased input costs, and low market prices are combining to make most of these businesses completely unviable. This is in addition to the problems that the industry isn't allowed to talk about too loudly.
Still too loud.
Like a lot of mysteriously cheap labor being a little bit harder to find right now. The number of agricultural bankruptcies has spiked this year. And now farmers are saying that they will probably need a bailout to keep
so we skipped over it. I mean, border closings and immigration raids have made it hard for farmers to find cheap labor. Makes sense. That does track. But I assume there's more to it than that. It's causing rising bankruptcies.
Essential industry afloat. Now, this wouldn't actually be the first time this has happened. Just 6 years ago, farmers got another bailout under very similar circumstances, which only accelerated the trend of farming becoming increasingly consolidated. Big farms get bigger assistance packages and can take bigger risks knowing there is a bigger chance they won't be allowed to fail.
Right.
But today, the conditions are worse.
By the way, we just love that, don't we, folks? We love a system that rewards the bigger failures and lets the smaller ones fail. To create a system where you have to get increasingly consolidated to make sure that when you fuck up, the government has to bail you out or it's systemic to the entire economy. People love that. People love that. Folks, it's the best thing. It's one of the best fucking systems. And we hate Linacon, don't we, folks? We don't like when someone breaks that up and tries to create competition. We think it's lame. We think it's whack, dude. Nasty woman, Lena Khan. We've been saying this. Yes, indeed. Less companies, less drama. Dude. Somebody who wants a monopoly in every industry because he doesn't like the drama. It's like, I don't want Pepsi and Coke fighting. Okay, it's just, it's drama. Let's just calm down and have one soda company locked in. That's good. I like that.
Nothing has been decided, and the clock is ticking.
Farmageddon.
Moral hazard has well and truly taken hold in another vital industry, and major players know it. But that still doesn't make the situation any less dangerous because, well, we can't eat the moral high ground.
Rising concerns from our state's farmers as free trade economists say tariffs threaten to drive up their costs.
I'm a six-generation farmer from Newport, and we made a decision to go out this year in the spring.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here, it's everywhere.
As the fallout from the Trump administration tariffs continues, there is talk that the administration might fund a new bailout for American farmers.
Even during good times with minimal disruptions,
You know what we should do? Because tariffs aren't making enough money to pay off any amount of our deficit. The deficit's massive and the tariff income is relatively small. But if we were to tariff all goods in America, we could probably make enough money to bail out the people that got burned by the tariffs. So we can have a net no gain. Everything gets less competitive and weaker, but we can put the money back to... That's great. That's such a perfect plan.
Farming is a difficult business with a lot of overhead and very thin margins. Industry groups have been pointing out that most agriculture in America is still done on family farms, which is technically true, but also a convenient lie at the same time. According to the latest data released from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, 86% of farms operating in America were classified as small family farms.
Okay.
However, this number includes so many insignificant examples that it's basically insignificant itself. According to the USDA's reporting criteria, a small family farm is an operation that generates less than $350,000 in a year, but makes more than $1,000 a year.
Okay.
The hurdle to classify as a farm is so low that things like Christmas tree lots and even large vegetable gardens at farm.
A Christmas tree lot being counted as a family farm is very good. The Kent, you know what? No, you guys are saying the Kent farm from Smallville. It would not qualify because he doesn't make $1,000 a year. Jonathan Kent can't run a business to save his goddamn life. Jonathan Kent seems to pull in fucking 18 cents and has to make it work.
Farmers markets get included in the total count of small family farms. All of these small farms collectively only account for 41% of total land area and 17% of total production. The vast majority of agricultural production is actually done
by the way, this is all that matters. This one on the right, we're kind of covering it. Even if all of these were real family farms, saying that the total number of farms has a lot of family farms doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, there could be 1 million of them, but if 90% of the food and the value is coming to the few, then that is what we have the majority of. It doesn't, what a stupid thing. The number is bigger. Yeah, of course there's going to be more small family farms than big ones, but they should have 86% of the value. They should have every 6% of the value of production.
Large-scale family farms that are multi-million-dollar operations, the same as any other large family-owned corporation. There's also a rapidly growing share of institutional farms owned by investment firms. The difference between this composition and this composition is actually part of what makes farmland such an attractive investment class.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is really important to remember when seeing news about town halls full of struggling small-time farmers asking for assistance. It's not that their struggles are not real. They are getting crushed. But it's just that the imagery of lots of small working-class farmers going out of business is a really effective marketing tool for industry lobbying.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be...
I got an idea, folks, because I'm trying to get a bailout for streamers because we've been working too fucking hard. All right, I'm sorry. Me and Kai and Ludwig, we've all been putting in too many fucking hours and we want a bailout. So if you're in my chat and you look like this, you got to look very like South, middle of the road Republican. You got to look kind of like all American. Yeehaw. If you look like this, I need you for a PR stunt. Okay? I need like 50 of you so we can march on Washington or on an elected official and be like, bail out our streamers. You got to bail out our streamers. I'm a hard-working American. I want to watch a Big A clip after work, and he's putting in too many hours. And so we're gonna put this together, okay? And we're gonna storm the Capitol, probably. It depends. It depends, bro.
1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
People don't care if Old McDonald's Incorporated Real Estate Investment Trust has a bad quarter. But those same companies are banking on the fact that politicians do care about the optics of thousands of family farms closing down. And since that's technically the majority of the industry, the big players can always count on government support coming through.
Right.
Ultimately, most of the benefits of that lobbying will flow to the largest producers, which are not the same people currently voicing their concerns in town hall meetings. If anything, the industry giants will probably use this financial relief to further consolidate this industry, making it even harder on these guys.
Great.
Oh, and of course, some of you are probably already pointing out that even these small family farmers are not faultless either, and we will get to that later. But first, it's important to understand the 4 major problems all hitting agriculture at the same time right now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say that, okay, I first of all, I fully agree this is what's happening, and I agree that this is negative and everyone's pissed about it. And I agree that government bailouts that primarily use small family farms as the image and then flow to the large private equity owned farms, I get bad. However, at the end of the day, you still have to make food in the country. And so they are going to, I mean, they're probably going to require a bailout only because the tariffs have been so stupid. If they go under, even if it's the big factory farms, if they go under, it's still really bad because we have to produce the food. It's just not we cannot let everything fail and then import it. The problems of the bailout are a very bad moral hazard, and it's bad. I don't support the bailout at all, but I also understand that we've created the conditions where they're already going to fail. They're going to fail because of the situation that we're in.
Is probably what you are already thinking: the trade wars. Every year, around 20% of the food we grow is sold abroad to markets mainly in Canada, Mexico, and China, the same countries that we have been pushing hard with trade wars. America is the world leader in agricultural trade, and countries are highly dependent.
Dude, isn't it so badass?
Sold abroad to markets mainly in Canada, Mexico, and China.
Isn't it so cool that we said, let's not just have a trade war with one of these countries. Let's have a trade war with all 3 and the rest of the world simultaneously. That way, nobody can be on our side. That way, we have nobody. I think that's so based. It's so badass, dude. What a smart idea. Instead of picking your battles and trying to focus on the one that matters the most, just going in all directions so that nobody at all wants to have good, favorable terms of trade with you. I think that's fucking badass. I think that's so sick.
The same countries
like
that we have
Aura.
been pushing hard with trade wars. America is the world leader in agricultural trade, and countries are highly dependent on these exports to feed their own agriculture, but more importantly, their own people. There is a lot of bluff and bluster when it comes to hammering out the exact details of these trade agreements, and honestly, a lot of it is just political theater. Behind the scenes, they are willing to go back and forth on things like consumer goods and cars to secure a good photo op. But if there is one thing that these governments absolutely will not fuck around with, it is making sure their people get fed.
Yeah.
There's an old adage that even the most stable empires are only 3 missed meals away from chaos, and most world leaders understand this deeply. If they want to keep their jobs...
Bro, here's the modern day version, dude. The most stable empires are only 1 TikTok outage from revolution. Okay? In 2025... if social media goes down for a week, things are on fire, bro. Let alone if they're eating. I mean, we can always eat Feastables. That's always going to be available. Mr. Beast provides. But if we can't watch Mr. Beast videos, it's over.
Away from chaos, and most world leaders understand this deeply. If they want to keep their jobs, and probably their heads, they need to make sure that their people are fed. Because of this, almost every country that is reliant on food imports from America has made major investments into finding alternatives as quickly as possible. China is typically the largest international purchaser of American soybeans, which it uses primarily for domestic livestock feed. But this year, it hasn't purchased a single bean. Instead, it strengthened trade ties with Brazil, and it's accepting the slightly higher price of their soy over ours. What makes this especially hard is that harvests need to be planned months in advance, and global trade dynamics are changing faster than fields can grow. Now, this would make things incredibly difficult for commodity farmers at the best of times, but America actually has a lot of programs in place to ensure some level of stability in this market. Or at least, we did. A report by Bloomberg Law found that the biggest cause of the current wave of bankruptcies is frozen government programs that farmers were counting on for their continued operations. In total, dozens of programs have been frozen, with individual operators reporting that they already made the investments to qualify for these grants, and only after the work was done are they being taken away.
Great.
According to the industry group NSAC, over 30,000 contracts in total are being withheld indefinitely. This alone is not great, but it gets worse. This wasn't a cost-cutting measure. Government funding for farms is actually increasing with a range of new incentives.
It's so annoying. So annoying. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed because I'm actually so easy. I'm such an easy grader. If you do some fucking stupid shit and you cut a program that is absolutely invaluable, but you're like helping reduce our absurd, obscene deficit, then I more than anyone will go, hey, you know what? This is really stupid, but at the very least, we're helping getting our finances in order. Our deficit is unsustainable. But what is happening, especially this administration, especially this time around, is that not only are we cutting things that worked, but we are spending more. The deficit is up. We've cut a million fucking things and the deficit is up. It's crazy. It's crazy to have no progress on either thing. I can't imagine. It's like such incompetence.
The only problem is those programs start next year. So in the meantime, the current market is just filtering out the smaller farms that can't wait that long. And of course, on top of that, there is still the elephant in the room that these current problems are exactly what a majority of these farmers voted for. So it's time to learn how money works to find out what's really behind America's homegrown farming crisis.
Okay.
This video is sponsored by BootDev, the platform I've been using lately to actually enjoy brushing up on my back percent off
Check out
first year on
BootDev!
the annual plan. So a lot of people have been quick to point out that the current farming crisis might just be another example of people voting against their own best interests. The current administration didn't exactly hide their intentions to pursue tariffs and cut government programs during their election campaign. And yet, farming-dependent counties overwhelmingly...
I'll say this, though. Well, most people aren't as generous as me, I guess, but I don't blame someone who went through... I blame them more now than I do before the election. I don't blame them for thinking it would be different, but I blame them for sticking with it when it's not different. That's my thing. I do not blame you because first of all, politicians say a lot of shit. Trump says a lot of shit. I think most of these people thought Trump would be, first of all, a lot more like Trump term one, which is a lot more talk than action. Trump barely got anything done term one. He just cut taxes on the rich. Barely did much. I can totally see that. Plus, inflation hurt everybody, and they could have easily blamed that entirely on Joe Biden, which I don't think is fair, but he's part of it. And I could just see them voting the way they did. I don't blame anybody begrudgingly for that. But after the tariffs are becoming such a problem for your business, it's frustrating to me that they keep saying like we read an interview during Lemonade Stand with some of the farmers who were saying things like, they really thought the tariffs would just be a bluff. The tariffs are just a negotiating tactic, and they still think that, some of them, and he's going to get rid of them. They still think the tariffs are going to be like temporary. They're just going to and like that is at this point pretty crazy. At this point, at this far along, like they might be higher or lower based on a negotiation, but there is going to be these global tariffs. Like that's now like a core part of his strategy that he's talking about so much. And it's frustrating to see people still not realize how bad this is getting for American export industries.
Supported them. So maybe they shouldn't exactly be shocked Pikachu in response to these problems. This is especially true for the third big challenge they are facing, which is that they are running out of workers. A report by the Economic Policy Institute found that 70% of all investigations into the agricultural industry detected violations in wage and hour laws. Labor-intensive farm work like hand harvesting is almost always conducted by contractors since they are only needed when there is an actual harvest to be picked. These contracts frequently pay based on output rather than total hours worked, which means it is very easy for these independent contractors to make less than minimum wage for their work. This can be really hard to police, because legitimate small contracting businesses or freelancers don't have the legal right to earn a set amount of money for a set amount of hours worked. A plumber who runs their own small business can easily end up doing hours of work where they earn below minimum wage, so an independent laborer picking fruit can be treated the same way. The economic realities test to make distinctions between these two circumstances is hard and often has to go to the courts, which is obviously very difficult for a lot of these groups.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to
At the end of the day, though, the results are probably not exactly shocking to you. Young Americans are not exactly lining up to do hard labor in the sun for hours a day, all to make below minimum wage. But now, with heightened immigration enforcement...
Let me tell you something, how money works, before you should get on your high fucking horse. My Twitch chatters are some of the hardest working people in this fucking country. Okay? And when they clock in at 7 or even later PM at night to watch Smallville with me and say poggies, it is 50 times harder than picking strawberries in the hot sun for months on end. Okay? This is the brutality. This is the Marines. These are incredibly talented people. And all of them, I'm sure, would gladly take these jobs.
Farmers are also finding it harder to rely on undocumented workers who have typically been more willing to accept these unfavorable conditions. According to the Economic Policy Institute, these enforcement activities were briefly paused in response to pushback, but are currently still in full swing. Again, no matter where you stand on these issues, you can't exactly argue that the current administration was trying to hide their intentions with these plans.
No, they were pretty clear.
So then, why did this industry vote against its own interests? Well, it probably wasn't as simple as that. Most farmers that are still around today are quite wealthy. In a lot of regions, they are making far more from the appreciating values of their land than they are from the crops that they grow on that land.
That's crazy.
According to a report by the USDA, croplands have increased in value by an average of $270 per acre within the last 12 months.
I saw this like 5 or 6, 7 years ago because Bill Gates bought like the largest amount of farmland any private individual owns, and he did it as an investment. And I remember thinking, well, that's weird. And it's just, he was ahead of the game. Like, Bill Gates owns more farm. He's not a fucking farmer in any way. He's just buying the land because it goes up in value.
Months, while the actual top-line revenue from that same acre only averaged out to $205 an acre before any costs or expenses. This has slowly changed.
Someone said it's not true. I just looked it up. It is true. Bill Gates, through his farmland company, Cascade Investments, owns over 269,000 acres by 2021, making him the largest private owner of U.S. farmland. Just want to be clear that you're not. Okay?
The industry of farming from a business of making food to a business of land speculation with a side hustle in government food programs. A first-hand account posted by Sarah Tabor explained this from personal experience.
How does it compare to Clancyville? Not to get off topic here, but that's 1/50th of the size that Clancyville owns for his work camps. Okay? So it's not, comparatively, it's very small. Comparatively, it's very small, what Bill Gates is doing, but it's still, Clancyville's obviously the bigger issue. Let me go back.
Food farming from a business of making food to a business of land speculation with a side hustle in government food programs. A first-hand account posted by Sarah Tabor explained this from personal experience working in the industry and proposing policy. If you haven't already seen it, I will leave a link to it below, because she obviously has more personal experience with the issues. But in brief, certain policies like tax cuts and increased benefits were more attractive to these business owners than the fear of genuine economic repercussions. The Big Beautiful Bill actually significantly increased government spending on farming assistance over the next 10 years by $56 billion, which will mostly go towards boosting government reference prices and insurance assistance. The current problem is that those new rules don't officially start until next year, while farmers are dealing with the immediate problems right now. This is why so many in the industry are asking for short-term support, because if they can survive to next year...
This is fucking crazy. So our increasingly consolidated farmland has become mainly a land speculation vehicle where you kind of farm as a side thing with government bailouts while you wait for your land value to go up. You're not even really farming. And the reason you benefit from this administration is because they will increase the bailouts and then reduce the taxes when you sell the land for millions. And that's what you want more than you care about the day-to-day realities of the farming. That is fucking awesome.
Things should get a lot more financially rewarding. Another component of recent tax changes that were particularly appealing to farmers were new capital gains tax brackets and deferrals on the sale of farmland, which could all significantly reduce how much they owed if they sold off their rapidly appreciating land. Now, I really don't want to get conspiratorial here, so you should know that this next part might just be a happy little accident. However, these new tax policies also pair really well with the emerging fintech platforms like AcreTrader, Farm Together, and Farmfolio, which let farmers sell portions of their land to outside investors who themselves can build up a diversified portfolio of different agricultural production. These platforms have raised a lot of money from people who themselves are also large investors in farmland as a financial asset, and also people who have a significant influence in shaping these policies. How much they actually use that power for their own self-interest is up to you to decide. But it gets worse. According to the Government Accountability Office, just 7% of farmers received 63% of all the financial assistance between 2019 and...
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. That feels very corrupt. That feels very... inside baseball, somebody knows somebody.
2023. Increased assistance and consolidation will only make the statistic even more skewed by disproportionately benefiting larger consolidated farm operations. These larger farms simultaneously have greater financial stability to survive through tough times and benefit more during the good times. If you see news footage covering this farming crisis, you are going to see barns full of small farmers talking about their struggles. But that's not the agricultural industry. That's what the agricultural industry was. Most government programs intended to help out the idealized small family farmer end up helping out big agricultural businesses even more.
I see.
The few actual small family farms that are still holding on are inevitably going to find it hard to compete with these kinds of market dynamics, but their struggles are a really good way to keep those benefits coming. There's an excerpt in the book Catch-22 that has become popular in response to this evolving crisis. His specialty was alfalfa. He made a good thing out of not growing any. The government paid him well for every bushel of alfalfa he did not grow. The more alfalfa he did not grow, the more money the government gave him. And he spent every penny he didn't...
Dude, I can't wait for this to be true for 4.3 billion tons of soybeans next year. Where the government is going to be paying massive soybean factory farms to not grow soybeans because they fucked up the one contract they had with China that they can't sell to anymore. So we're going to bail them out for sitting with empty soy fields. At least we'll have fewer soy boys. Although we were exporting it to China, so weren't we making them more soy? Wouldn't that be a strong thing?
Earn on new land to increase the amount of alfalfa he did not produce.
Honestly, wait a minute.
Major's father worked
because in the past, like, for example... the price of, what is a McRib made out of again? It's like something disgusting, but whatever. When the price of the ingredients of a McRib, pork, rat, poop from a butt, whenever poop from a butt prices are historical lows, or I guess rat meat or pork or at lows, that's when the McRib comes back. McDonald's doesn't do it like... because they feel like it. They do it when the price is right to put it in the store. And so we're going to have an absolute glut of soy. We're going to have soybeans like fucking crazy that are going to get dumped on the American market for nothing. So we're going to have so much fucking soy. Everyone's going to be soy pointing. You're just going to see it. It's like whenever chocolate prices rose and all the candy companies stopped talking about chocolate. They started doing all the new sour candies. Like, we're going to see a weird inclusion of soy-based things in a lot of foods after this soy glut hits the market.
Rest in not growing alfalfa. Major's father was an outspoken champion of economy and government, provided it did not interfere with the sacred duty of government to pay farmers as much as they could get for all the alfalfa they produced. Now, this book was originally published in 1961 and is about the events of the Second World War, but you can probably see the relevance it has today. Now, these perverse incentives may be bad, but it gets worse. An industry-wide crisis like this just becomes a buying opportunity for investors with spare capital. A lot of genuine family farmers are seeing the ideal tax policies as a convenient time to hang up the hat and get out while they can. And then by the time support comes through to fix the industry, the biggest operators are the ones that will receive the support. According to census data, there are already 10% fewer farms than there were just 5 years ago when we were facing a similar crisis. If the farmers themselves are to be believed, there is a good chance that there will be even fewer in another 5 years from now. Larger, more institutional farms can also afford to spend more on lobbying, which is why they have slowly become one of the best funded voices in Washington. Oh, and there is one...
This is the fucking problem, bro. My industry doesn't have enough lobbying. We need streamers to band together and put some money in to lobby. If Dan Clancy can be our guy in front of Congress, then we can finally turn this shit around. Matt Pat. We need Matt Pat to get out there and start lobbying. Ugh. I'll lobby on your behalf. Thank you. That's good.
They have slowly become one of the best funded voices in Washington. Oh, and there is one other big benefit these institutional farmers have. They don't really care how much money their farmland actually makes. Go and watch this video next to find out what's really behind farms becoming the hottest new alternative asset class.
I love alternative asset classes. Now, the one thing is missing is that we need to somehow make this part of every American's 401k. Then the cycle will be truly complete. Once we've made a huge systemic problem, then put it all into one or two duopolies, then we can bail it out on the public. That'll be great. Then once we all own a piece of it, so when it actually does fail, we all pay instead of just them. That would be perfect. That would be awesome. Okay, cool. So everything is fine, right? Dude, this is kind of funny. Tell me what you think after you watch my interview with, or our interview with Steve Eisman. But I'm kind of like spending most of the interview talking to him about like this problem with rising defaults, this problem with banks, this problem with big tech consolidation. I talked to him about the incestuous circle between NVIDIA, OpenAI, and Oracle. And he agrees with all of it. Everything he's like, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. And at the end of it, he's like, yeah, but it's all right. It's like, is it? Is it? He's like, he's so chill, but he's so rich. So I can't tell if he doesn't. I can't tell if it's actually all right or if he's just not affected. I couldn't really get a vibe. Because he wasn't disagreeing with anything. He was like, yeah, that's happening. That's happening. That chart's real. That's happening. And he's just crazy rich. So maybe, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you think. Hetros 5. They get the 53 months. Hey, Big A, super cool to see you on Fast 52. Not surprised you didn't read my dono there either. Well, I didn't read donos because they didn't set me up with the dono thing on Fast 52. But thanks for watching. I really enjoyed doing it. It was a lot of fun. Big shout outs to Lud for having me. Shout outs to Squeaks for doing the race, even though he was, 5-1. 5-1, baby. Good job for Squeaks. And then shout outs to Spec. The real cool one was Spec. If you guys haven't watched Spectacor's run, it was pretty late at night. I honestly recommend going back to watch it. He did such a fantastic job. He had really funny jokes. He did some crazy strats. I think it was probably my highlight run of the whole event, maybe, or at least top 3. And it's very worth watching. It was a great, great run. What other runs were good? I mean, Linkus's was great. I liked, what else did I like? Well, I liked DFG's run, the Zelda run. That was pretty sick. Mario 64 at the end was really good. I donated a rack to get Squeaks to have to do a star, which he did, I guess, fine. Long-time Clips watcher, first-time stream watcher, what up? You have chatted here before a month ago. I was going to give you your first-time topic bonus, but then I check your history. You're not a first-time stream watcher. In fact, over a month ago, you said first-time Twitch viewer, long-time Clips channel watcher. Which means you already did this. I already responded to this. And you're trying to farm it again, bro. You got me, bro. All right, bro. All right. If it worked once. I'm sorry, but you gotta caught where it's caught. You can't double dip. You can't have 2 bites at the apple. Thanks for the 19 months, Lexaroid. Thank you very much. You are a first-time chatter. Do you have any thoughts on grid stability with batteries versus baseload generation? Yeah, I'm very partial towards baseload generation at the current level of battery technology. I don't believe that it is economical to build and hold enough energy in current batteries to make that work. So I am heavily on the side of baseload generation. However, of course, I am a very pragmatic person, and I will keep a close eye on battery technology as it evolves. But I haven't seen it work, just to be clear. The countries that have built stable, clean grids are either using hydropower or nuclear for stable baseload, and no one else. Everyone else has something else. There's nobody doing enough batteries for all country. So, or they have coal or something, right? They do something else. They have clean, beautiful coal. Clean coal, folks. I will say this, though. I did learn recently, not very much a oil sulfur content expert. Trump had a statement where he said that we have this beautiful clean oil in West Texas, and the oil in South America is dirty oil, burns dirty. And he's actually right. He was saying it, and I was like, that's fucking stupid. But no, it's real. The sulfur content in certain parts of the world is much higher in the oil. And it burns dirt. I mean, it's still whatever. It's not like a massive difference, but it is true. It is true. So basically what I'm saying is that Trump was right about everything, which has sort of been my core thesis this year. That's why I wear the hat. Don't they refine it out? No, they do. But the refining process itself is dirty. And then also the refining adds expense and time. So there is a benefit for the parts of the world that have the sweeter, nicer oil. They call it sweeter, I guess, because it tastes good. It's more sugary. Yum, 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 yum. I've been to West Texas. The oil there does taste good. I mean, I own shares in a company that all they do is own land in the Texas Permian Basin where there's oil, and they lease the land out to oil companies and take a percentage of the profit. So it has absolutely no cost, no overhead, no employees. It is just a holding company to lease land out to oil companies. And it's like an incredible, it's been one of my best investments. It's incredible. Really adds a lot of value to the end consumer? Nope, not at all. A little bit, but that's not how I chose my investment. Have you read Barron's Money, Power, and the Corruption of America's Food Industry? No, I haven't. But I have read a book called Salt, Sugar, Fat. How the food giants hooked us. And it is about how American food companies have found like the perfect chemical formulas to get us hooked on truly rancid food. But it's a good food. It's a good book. So just sugar? No. It's salt, sugar, and fat. Apparently, the book goes into it. It's like they have food scientists and they find the chemical, they call it the bliss point for human taste buds, where if you put too much salt or too much sugar or too much fat, you go yuck. But if you get the exact perfect, and it's different per person, but you can find the most bliss point, then it's like extremely chemically addictive. And so like, that's why a Lay's chip is like extremely hard to only eat one, dude. They've like literally engineered it to be the perfect bliss point. The B spot. So it's an interesting book. They pay people to make their food taste good. Is this all it takes to make a book? I think that's a very reductive way of looking at what I just said. I think you are intentionally trying not to learn anything. And you have no interest in picking up new knowledge or trying to pick up more about the world around you. I think you have an agenda. Can you watch Crypto Shark Tank? No, I'm probably going to end stream straight up. I'm sorry. I'm fucking tired today. I'm really enjoying the stream, actually. I would love to go longer, but I'm fucking crazy tired, bro. We did back-to-backs. Save me? Fuck it! We'll do one Smallville for the real ones. We'll do one Smallville for the fucking real ones. Just because I'm a chunk, but with love. I'll do one Smallville for the real ones. Because we haven't done it in a hot minute. I don't even remember where we were. One Smallville for the real ones. Okay. But also, I'm really trying to finish this bigger short video for the main channel. I have to do that pretty much all this week to finish it. So I feel like I'm a little slammed lately. I know what you're thinking. You are slammed. You have the hardest job in the world. Don't say you think, say you know. I know it's what you're thinking. I know you're thinking like, don't ever put yourself down, Atrioc. You actually work harder than anyone I could possibly think of. But I'll just be honest with you, it is actually kind of fucking a little more than usual this past couple weeks. Okay, let's pull up Smallville. Chunk Summer, baby. That's what they're calling it. Chunk Summer. All right, where's my YouTube purchases? About Chunktober, dude. I did talk about EA already, yeah. I talked about EA. We are on, if I'm correct, the following episode of Smallville. Oh my God. I forgot we're on season 2. Yeah, we are on season 2. We are on the following episode, whereupon it's called Insurgents. Insurgents. Episode 12 of season 2.